Hi, it's Art, short for Artemy, and you can find me at CU Artist pretty much everywhere. Today I wanted to talk about the differences between a page, chapter, and an episode, I guess. Just kind of talk about my personal, definition, I guess, of them before talking about thoughts that I had. I think while Webtoon and Tapas and the mobile format can be kind of easier because you're not having to format a page per se. It definitely has its own struggles, don't get me wrong, but there's less finagling to get it fitting onto a page correctly. But the sheer number of panels that are expected in one episode is kind of bonkers to me, as somebody who most of the webcomics I have read have been pages. Panel is just one little square of, well, not even have to be a square, but one individual image. A page, I would say average maximum would be 7 panels. An episode is it really depends on how many you choose to put in there, but I have heard that a lot of the audience on those sites expects more panels per episode, and the official comics on those sites have at least 45 to 60 panels per episode, and it very well might cut off in the middle of the scene just because it is a lot of work to do that. So I have scenes or chapters, kind of, and sometimes it will take 2 to 3 episodes to make up a whole scene or chapter. So in the prep work that I was doing for my comic, I prepared all of the pages into the episodes that I would be posting them in, so that it would be easy to split them up into the mobile format as I'm going along. And I definitely think that that was a good decision. It has made it pretty easy to have it quickly separated into the chunks that I need it to be in. However, because it is in a Clip Studio file of each individual section of pages, I have not really looked at how many pages I have done in total at all since putting them into those folders. So I've been kind of not beating myself up too harshly. I know that I have other things going on, but I've definitely been kind of disappointed that at this point I am only finishing up to the 6 episode mark. Last night, however, I finally was I should look at how many pages this is, because I'm going to start posting the first 3 episodes at once, but after that, my current plan is to start posting 1 page a week on my website, and as I get to the point of an episode, then I will post that episode onto Webtoon or Tapas. And as I build up my buffer more from posting once a week, or if I do find that I can definitely start posting more than 1 page a week, then I will do so. But definitely starting out with 1 just so that I can still continue to build up my buffer a little bit more, and I would much rather add another page per week later on than have to cut down on pages in a week after finding out that I could not keep up that workload. Anyway, I definitely wanted to know how many pages in total I had, just as a reminder that the whole episode format can really kind of mess with your perception of how much you're doing, even if you are doing it as pages originally, which I definitely know other people tend to do as well if they are planning on printing it eventually. But once I finish the 3 episodes I am working on currently, I am going to have 55 pages, which is not the most in the world, but it is so much bigger of a number than 6. So it definitely kind of flabbergasted me for a little bit. I was like, oh, I have done a decent amount of pages, huh? Definitely already, longer than other comic projects I have done. So I just kind of wanted to celebrate that a little bit, because, but also talk about how I think the pressure that the mobile format can put on creators is definitely not my favorite thing in the world, I guess. I don't have too much to say, and I also don't want to criticize people for doing it, because you gotta do what you gotta do to get by, but I know you can post less frequently when you're doing that, but it's definitely harder to have your work seen when that is the case. So my problem isn't really with people creating things in this way. It's more so, I guess, just the pressures that are put onto comic artists nowadays to produce that much content, and frequently people still want it relatively quickly. And while I do think it would be a lot faster to just immediately go into the mobile format than to make a page and then reformat it, because it just is definitely a choice to make, but if you want to print but also have that mobile format, I think it's a good choice to make. It is definitely more time consuming to do that, but I am just, definitely miss ye old days of webcomics, but it's not like those don't still exist, it's just much less common at this point. Anyway, yeah, this is pretty much just a ramble of my thoughts, but Webtoon creators, they are bonkers when they are putting out that much work that quickly. Truly impressive. Good lord. I just think it is good to get some perspective on that, because it's definitely something I had not really thought about in a little bit, since I had separated them into episode marks. But yeah, appreciate comic artists, I guess, because that is a lot to do all the time. Anyway, yeah. Also, just a note to yourself, if you're doing something like that, it's good to check in and be like, oh, how much work have I done? Because it's really easy to kind of get caught up in the stuff you're currently doing and forget about all the work you have done to get there. So just, I don't know, give your past self a pat on the back and kind of realize that you are capable of doing things. And just kind of check in on yourself and celebrate the stuff you already do have, because I think that is important to have the strength to keep moving forward. That is all I have for today. Thanks for listening, and I hope to see you tomorrow.